Okay, it seems to be. Can you hear me? Killer, can you hear me? Of course, there's a delay. This one is alive. Drums to the bass. No, I'm not sure what happened. It just I got a beep and the stream had gone down. Not sure what happened there. So hopefully some people will jump in. Yes, we're back. Okay, great. We can hear you. Great, that's great. Okay, here. Fantastic. Not sure what happened. Maybe it's maybe Google doesn't like me talking about Dido Harding. Maybe did I say the wrong word instead of Dido Harding? I'm not sure. Okay, so it says here, Tory peer, former colleague on shortlist for top COVID testing job, court told. That's a bit of a mouthful. So Dido Harding personally intervened to add a former Sainsbury colleague to the shortlist of the head of COVID testing alongside candidates with a public health or health logistics background, a court has heard. The court is being asked to rule on whether the government acted unlawfully with respect to the appointments of Harding, a Conservative peer, and Mike Coop, former CEO of Sainsbury's, to lead roles at NHS Test and Trace without competition. Did you pay the hamsters well? I did. Not sure what happened. Just went. I heard a beep and then the stream went down for some reason. On Tuesday, the court was told that Harding, who was herself appointed as chair of the NHS Test and Trace within hours of a shortlist being drawn up, added Coop to a shortlist of candidates that had been created by the Department of Health and Social Care for candidates selected by an agency. So this is basically, my friends, jobs for the boys, as we call it. Blatant sabotage. Dido went down with the ship. Okay, we have a few people on the stream again. Remember, guys, to smash the like button again. Thanks. So apologies for that. I'm not sure what happened. So anyway, I'll keep going. Buffering. No buffering, please. In the written submission, Jason Koppel QC, acting for the claimants, Runnymede Trust and the Good Law Project, said Baroness Harding intervened to add Mike Coop to the shortlist of candidates. The recruitment agency had not recommended him. Mr. Coop's most significant professional experience is the former CEO of Sainsbury's. What's that got to do with test and trace? Exactly. Mr. Coop had no public health or health logistics background. This should be contrasted with the specialist experience of other candidates. This evidence should then be contrasted with those who have been Baroness Harding's unevidented assertion that Mr. Coop had the most transferable experience. He used to run a supermarket chain. Okay, it's not the same as running public health or health logistics, especially as there are other people available. Harding also interviewed two shortlisted candidates as well as Coop, although he was the only one she interviewed in person. So she didn't really bother to interview the other people as well. Test and Tesco to do the tests. Good point. Ron turned the microwave and killed the wife. Bastard. That's it. That damn Sir Ron. I suspect Dido went down with the ship. How else did she get the job? HMS Harding with that cost, yes. Well pointed out. Oh gosh, Sainsbury's did sell paracetamol though, but then also Boots and other places, and also the local not Tesco, but the local I don't know, your corner shop probably sell it as well. Lidl's, though, there's the best game in town. My understanding is that he had 3 funds operating out of Dublin. Monster raving hamster party. Okay. The goes on to say, they said that Harding and Coop's appointments to NHS Test and Trace are as well as the former's subsequent appointment to head up what is now the UK Health and Security Agency, were made in such a way that they were open to a tight circle of friends and contacts of conservative politicians, as well as the individual decisions. They were challenging what they saw as unlawful policy, which they alleged disadvantages the undisconnected ethnic minorities and people with disabilities. The Tories just want, I don't even think it was down to ethnic minorities and people with disabilities. It was the unconnected. If you're a friend of Dido Harding, here's a job, a senior position, earning a lot of money, a lot of control. If you're somebody who donated to the Conservative Party, here's a contract to make a lot of money. Baroness Harding's experience is not that it is so obvious without any selection process. She was uniquely qualified for the role, says Koppel. In 2017, Baroness Harding was appointed to the chair of NHS Improvement. Prior to that role, she had no experience as a public administrator in the public health sector. She is the wife of former Conservative Minister John Penrose, who is the Prime Minister's anti-corruption champion. You couldn't make this up. And she is a personal friend of the former Prime Minister David Cameron. Her most high-profile professional experience was the former chief executive of Tok Tok Group, which was a disaster. So imagine, just savor this for a moment. She's the wife of the former Conservative Minister John Penrose, who is the Prime Minister's anti-corruption champion. So she was like, this is really arsonists running the fire brigade, okay, the fire department. Anti-corruption champion. But is there any more taking of the piss here? There was a meme I saw on the internet where there's no piss left because the Tories have taken it all. A Dido that cannot give good vibrations. How bad? I heard Boris and Jacob Rees-Mogg got a job as poll dancers from her. Jacob Rees-Mogg is the poll. I hope he's made of sturdy stuff. Max Mods, the super chats appearing in chat. No, oh no. No, I haven't seen any super chats here. Oh no, don't tell me they're appearing on the other one. I thought I ended the stream there. Anti-corruption, Max, not anti-nepotism. You're an extraction maxed out. She's good on a horse. Not sure what that's about. Okay, let's move on. I'll probably have to end the stream a little bit early tonight because it's not working very well. I'm not sure if the hamsters need more food or they need the stick or the carrot.
As Jeremy walks in to get his booster today, he's keen to make sure he's protected. A race has begun once again between the virus and the vaccine. This time last year, it was first COVID jabs being queued for. Now with the Omicron variant, it's 3.
How important do you feel it is for you to get the booster?
Very.
Why?
Why would I don't understand why anybody wouldn't. It's just I'd rather have an injection than be ill.
At the Solent NHS Trust Vaccine Hub, there had been a lull over the last few weeks, but after the message from Boris Johnson yesterday, it's been very busy.
So we opened at 8 o'clock this morning.
And when will you be
And
finishing?
we'll finish at 8 o'clock tonight.
We're seeing that some people have been finding it difficult to get in and get schedules and get boosters. What would you say to people who are worried about that and worried that they might not be able to get theirs?
So I think I would encourage them to be patient, be kind to our staff. They're doing absolutely everything they can. We're putting more and more capacity on every day, so you will get the opportunity to get your vaccine.
Well, the message from the Prime Minister seemingly going out loud and clear that booster jabs are needed now. This vaccination centre has been really busy, but you are not just allowed to rock up. You do have to have an appointment first, and some staff say that people have been upset by that. Also, those who are wanting to book online, there have been issues with that as well on the NHS website too.
Because Boris Johnson basically said, yes, go and book your appointment. Or anyone who needs one will get one. And then people went to the website to book their appointment and it collapsed because the NHS had not been informed that Boris Johnson was going to open the floodgates.
And a separate issue with lateral flow tests. So some people say they've been trying to do the right thing but haven't been able to.
Queues here in Southampton, but also elsewhere in England. In Oxford, walk-in appointments were being turned away. In London at St Thomas's Vaccine Centre, the wait to get a booster here, some say 5 hours. The slogan of "Get Boosted Now," in practice turning out to be, you might have to wait a while. Down the road at another hub, the Prime Minister set out the latest...
Why? Please tell me. Okay, James, thanks so much for that super chat. Why is Boris Johnson appearing as a doctor now? Can you imagine Boris Johnson giving you a jab? It's like, no, I think I'd prefer the illness. Boris, is there air in that? In 21st century, we've had our best Prime Minister, Tony Blair, and the worst Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. Tony Blair, I think he just had one blind spot, that being, of course, Iraq. But apart from that, yes, Scottish devolution, Welsh devolution, the work with, of course, followed on from John Major with the Good Friday Agreement. So, and I think he done some... done a lot of good. Unfortunately, I know that Iraq is going to be something that he's going to have to carry with him forever. He's there to wipe the seats. He's there to wipe the seats. Prime Minister, you're using too much paper. Use a bit more spray. Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
variant figures.
We can see Omicron spiking now in London and some other parts of the country.
Who is this man? Because it can't be the Prime Minister because he's wearing a mask.
Here in the capital, it probably represents about 40% of the cases. By tomorrow, it'll be the majority of the cases, and it's increasing the whole time.
Tonight, the opposition leader, Keir Starmer, is giving an address to the nation too.
I actually wanted to do a video on this, but I didn't get around to it. But I just want to say something quickly about it. Cahill, thanks so much for that super chat. Did Johnson lie about the booster being available to all qualifying in England this year? I don't know if he lied, but what he did was he told people to go out. So it's not he lied, but he gave bad advice because he told people, go out and get your jab now. But there aren't enough available. So, and the NHS staff had not been, and doctors had not been informed. They didn't know that there was, that Boris Johnson was releasing the information that evening. And of course, many people said, oh, I can get my jab. So they went online to book it. And the website collapsed because it wasn't prepared. Wasn't expecting so many people. Thanks for that super chat, Cahill. So it's not so much he lied, but he gave people bad advice. Anyway, it's not a good idea to follow advice from Boris Johnson. I just wanted to comment something. It's a little bit off topic, but I wanted to say something about this. Keir Starmer has a flag, Okay. That means a lot to a lot of people, and it's pissed off a lot of people as well. And I've been looking at his reading collection, and it's boring. I don't know if you can see here, it says Homes for Something, Longhouse. I was like, it can't be about houses. Yeah, it's pretty much about houses. There's another book, Stark, which is an interior as an architect. Okay, so Keir Starmer either likes reading about homes, or whoever stacked the shelf likes reading about homes, or they just picked random books off a shelf and put them on the shelf behind him. There isn't a strategy here. Of course, you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's a book by Obama. I think that's, of course, strategically placed. I love looking at all of these things because I find little Easter eggs, maybe. Of course, there's a picture of him and his family, and there's a picture of, I'm not sure, something else there. And of course, the flag. The flag has been called out. So people are saying, oh, why is he trying to emulate the Tories? A lot of people are happy. Look, I think it's a bit, not tacky, but I don't see the point of it from a personal point of view. But I understand the political aspect here. I understand it's a political tool, and it's him reinstating we're not going to let the Tories take the flag. We're going to show ourselves as patriotic, because if you have a flag, then you're patriotic. Of course, that doesn't make any sense. And he also mentioned Christmas. You know, he didn't say happy holidays or so it seems to be an attempt to move away. Not that I think he was ever in this position, but there is this idea that the Labour Party are woke, and they're politically correct, and they're progressive, and in what many ordinary people, I if I can think of a better word, would see as negative. And no, we're patriotic. We say Merry Christmas, not Merry Holidays or Happy Holidays or whatever. I think it's sort of returning to some sort of traditional message, or traditional, how can I say? Returning to some traditions, going back, not going forward. In a sense, copying the past. We're like the old Labour Party. This is what the old Labour Party would be like. And I don't know if this is a decision of his, so you can see how the shelf is modern, but the style of doing things is more traditional. He has his glass of water, he has his papers in front of him, he's looking straight into the camera. It's very old style. This is not TikTok videos, okay? This is not selfie stuff. This is all very professional and formal. And I think that's what he wants to project. Formality, the opposite of Boris Johnson. Boring. That's what he wants to project. The books were most likely carefully chosen. Yes, then I look, there's nothing here that stands out apart from Obama. I can't read the titles on the other books, but there's nothing really here that is shocking or really something that gives us much of an insight into Keir Starmer. He likes houses and homes. He likes design. He likes architecture. You know, he's not controversial.
Who?
And personally, I want to urge every one of you to book an appointment or go to a walk-in centre as soon as you can. If you haven't had your first or second jab, now is the time to come forward. It matters more than ever.
And in Wales, another televised address, this time from the First Minister.
We have to be prepared for cases to rise quickly and very steeply, just as they have in other parts of the UK. And we're likely to need to take more steps to keep Wales safe.
The warning from all that the dangers of the Omicron variant, while not fully known, cannot be underestimated. The booster is said to offer good protection, but what about those who haven't had a vaccination at all, with COVID patients in intensive care now almost all unvaccinated? what would be your message to someone who is still unvaccinated, who doesn't want to go through with it and just isn't convinced by anything they're seeing on telly at the moment?
The vaccine has demonstrated worldwide this safe and efficacious. The one thing I would suggest to anybody is that this is the single best way you can do to get your own and everybody else's life around you back to normal as quick as possible.
With the Health Secretary telling MPs that the Omicron variant now accounts for 20% of COVID cases, the vaccine rollout will need to step up and fast. Ambitious targets will have to turn into action.
Well, I've been speaking with the chair of the British Medical Association Council, Dr. Chan Nagpal. I began by asking him how many people actually had the necessary 2 vaccines to qualify for the booster vaccine.
It's correct that the government is pulling out all the stops to try and get all of those who have had 2 vaccinations to receive the booster, because we know that being double vaccinated does not confer protection against the new variant. However, it's also important to recognise that we believe millions, if not about 1 in 4 adults above the age of 18, will not yet be eligible for a booster because they've either not received a vaccination thus far, or they've received 1 or the second in less than 3 months ago. And so it's not as if we're going to enter the new year with the entire population protected, even if we were to get everyone.
And, you know, this has been Boris Johnson's promise. Boris Johnson, you know, will get everyone vaccinated by the end of the year. No. A lot of people have either just got their second jab or are waiting for the second jab, and it's there isn't enough time to vaccinate people within the end of the year. So many people will be January or February instead.
Everyone who's eligible for a booster to receive it.
Let me ask you, therefore, the $100 question. How are GPs coping?
Well, GPs are absolutely exhausted. They're seeing demand at higher levels than before the pandemic, about 2 million extra patient contacts in a single month.
So why the hell did Boris Johnson say for people to go out and get it? Once again, it's a distraction. Once again, it's, oh, look, people are angry with me over me partying, or the members of my government partying. Let's roll this out and tell people to go and get their vaccine. Like, it's very... He doesn't care. And he doesn't care about the consequences, because somebody else is going to pay the consequences. This is the worst thing about Boris Johnson. You know, other politicians are calculating, but he really just doesn't care.
They're now being asked to be embarking on the greatest vaccine program we've ever had to deal with in terms of the numbers that we're being expected to vaccinate in a very short space of time.
And if it succeeds or gets close to succeeding, who will take responsibility? The government, of course. The GPs are on the front line, fighting, doing their job, doing more than they're expected. And who's going to come out and say, oh, well, some people were saying, I'm voting for Boris Johnson because he got the vaccine. He got me the vaccine. No, it was not Boris Johnson. And that really pisses me off, is because the NHS are doing more than they should have. The NHS have been working their arses off. And who's taking the glory? The Conservative Party.
The trouble is, something has to give. And the government has said that in order to create the capacity for the vaccination boosters, routine services will need to be suspended, some routine services. Now, clearly, we as GPs want to make sure we are there for patients who need us. But the trouble is, we can't do everything at once. So this is a very difficult time for us.
Are you personally cancelling routine services?
No, at the moment, I mean, the announcement was only yesterday, so we haven't cancelled routine services. But as we begin to start to be involved actively in vaccinating, as our staff start to spend their time in vaccination centres and GPs spend their time in vaccinating, they clearly can't be at the same time running their practices in the way they were before. And
then you have the likes of Julia Hartless-Brewer, who come out and say, oh, look, why aren't the doctors doing their job? Because they have to do 2 jobs at the moment. Gareth, thanks so much for that super chat. Christmas parties and Omicron providing a perfect smoke screen for the law-breaking nationality and borders bill that's just passed through Parliament. Sadly, that's true. Thanks for that super chat, Gareth, and you're right. It's about... I think that's part of it, but it's also part of it is covering Boris Johnson's arse. Boris Johnson is a... Please complete sentence. I cannot say. It's all about smoke screens and dead cats and attempting to distract. And unfortunately, for many voters, it works.
What we must make sure is that patients who need urgent services of general practice are able to be treated and seen, and we will do everything we can to make sure that happens.
But then
So guys, before we finish, I want to finish with one final story before we finish tonight. This is an interesting story. So this is from John West on Twitter. He says, in a shock to absolutely no one, Dyson, chosen by the Department for Education to supply HEPA filters to schools at 6 times the price of comparable units. So I just want to show you the link to the government website. So it says here, air cleaning units for education and childcare settings. So this is an order from the government. If you want to buy filter systems, air purifiers for your school, you're advised to buy this one from Dyson. Price per unit is £424.82. A replacement filter is £65, and then there's some other information about it. Now, isn't it strange that they're choosing Dyson? Because if you look here, this person has posted this link to which.com. And it says, you can see here, there's a price of another unit which costs £73. This one costs £325. This one costs £65. And this one costs £549. And under which, now this person is subscribed to which, it's actually a very low profile, low grade purifier, because it's under the don't buy warning, so it's not good. And the government has given the contract to Dyson to provide these filters, these air purifiers. Why Dyson? Wonder why Dyson? Can anyone think of why Dyson would be much more expensive? I don't know. Has it anything to do with the fact that James Dyson is a Brexiteer? Look, James Dyson hasn't really donated money to the Conservative Party, so let's be clear about that. This isn't about a donation. He hasn't given a donation to the Conservative Party. I think if he did, it was something like £600 or £700, so it's a pittance to him. He's a billionaire, but he is a Brexiteer, and he's very friendly with members of the Conservative Party. I don't think he's given any money to them, really. As I said, maybe £600. But why is the government using his recommending more expensive than normal air purifier when there are others cheaper, which are others available for cheaper? This is not the government buying them and giving them to schools. This is advising schools, and it says here, available for all state-funded primary and secondary schools, further education colleges, and early years settings. Units can be purchased directly from suppliers. Because I don't see any money available for this, but it's advising schools to purchase them from Dyson. Why Dyson? You got me there, Max. Isn't Johnson's brother doing something as well? Yes, Boris Johnson's brother, I forget what his name is. He works for one of the Dyson Institute or something like that, because they're corrupt. Dyson suck, and that was just the that's the whirlwind of issues. He has Bojo's phone number. Yes, exactly. He's a very vocal Brexiteer who has shifted to Singapore. Sums it up perfectly. He donated £800 to the Tory party. So I don't think that would be enough to win him a contract. But he is friendly with Boris Johnson. He has Boris Johnson's phone number as well. So Tory air purifier stinks. Kirby better than Dyson, but too heavy. Dyson Sphere very expensive. Can enclose a whole star of the Dyson Sphere. Do look it up, anyone who's not familiar with the Dyson Sphere. Nothing to do with James Dyson. So guys, we're almost at the end of the stream. I want to say thanks to everyone who came on tonight. Apologies for the stream going down. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe something on Google's side. I'm not sure. On YouTube's side. So thanks to everyone who came on. Thanks to everyone who came on both streams. Smash the like button on both streams. Thanks to everyone who sent a super chat. Greatly appreciated. And thanks to everyone who was moderating tonight. Thanks for doing a wonderful job as always. So before we finish, we have our one for the road. I hope you enjoy this. I think you will.
Good evening. Don't get too excited. It's not one of those announcements. I'm not resigning yet. And I'm also not announcing another lockdown yet. I'm afraid I also don't have time to address the scandal. But what can I say? Hamilton was robbed. I'm here tonight to speak to you with my serious voice, but I still will not brush my hair. Although, let's face it, you wouldn't like it if I brushed it now. We delivered the fastest vaccination rollout in Europe, because God knows we needed to. And we've begun the fastest booster campaign, just a little stutter there, to make it sound like I'm doing this all in one go. It's not actually, it's my 7th take. First couple were ruined by baby noises. Then my daughter got involved. I need to speak to you this evening because we're facing a real emergency. So much so that I won't use any Latin or Greek in this speech. It's been a hard year, a real annus horribilis. Just slip one in there. Very much my modus operandi. Sorry, I won't do any more. I won't go on ad nauseum. It's only due to the extraordinary efforts of the NHS that we've done so well, and only due to the extraordinary efforts of my government that they're still so under-resourced. A fortnight ago, we said we'd offer a booster jab to every adult by the end of January. Well, I'm now moving that up to by the end of tomorrow. And crucially, I won't be telling anyone in the NHS about this until this very moment. So that's an exciting surprise for them on a Sunday evening, isn't it? I do hope the booking system holds up. There's not much we can do about it now. It's not like this is pre-recorded. We will guarantee that every adult will be offered a booster in the next 2 days. Children don't count, obviously. If we need more, I'm happy to oblige. Although do bear in mind that I said offered there, just like when Matty Hansbum said we were doing thousands of tests, and by doing, he meant sending in the post. I miss that little idiot. On the subject of tests, it's vitally important that everybody takes lateral flow tests as often as possible, which is why we haven't prepared for any sort of massive rush in demand, and we'll find there are none available starting from now. But never fear, I'm sure that soon enough we'll get a call from a Tory party donor with some cotton buds and a dream. To hit this pace, we'll bring in some military planning teams, because if there's one thing that the army understands, it's trying to achieve an objective that's too optimistic with too few resources. Some of you might be thinking, but what if this variant is less severe? Isn't this an overreaction? To which I say no. For once, I'm actually invoking the precautionary principle, and many of my MPs might vote against me now for doing the right thing after months of doing the wrong thing. Isn't life funny? Not that I'm worried about a leadership contest just yet. You'd have to be a complete psychopath to want to take over now, so that rules out at least 2 of the candidates. So, my message is clear. Get boosted now. Get boosted now, like you're a car that's been left unlocked outside the Tory party conference. Get boosted now, like you're the Labour Party's poll numbers every time I say anything. And get boosted now, like you're a chocolate bar filled with caramel, a biscuit and a soft cocoa. Sorry, a little bit hungry. I didn't get any dinner. I was too busy finishing off some multiple choice questions. Get boosted now. And once we've done that, I think we'll all deserve a party. Don't you?
Matt Green is wonderful. Do check out his channel, and he's a comedian as well, in case you didn't know. He does some shows. So guys, I want to say thanks to everyone who came on again. I want to say thanks to everyone who sent a super chat. Greatly appreciated. And I'll see you. And the moderators once again, of course. Remember, anyone who is a patron, you have access to Discord, and we'll see you on the Discord after the stream tonight. Have a great week, and I'll see you all on Friday, same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, and remember to stay safe. Good night, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.